For today's videos, I got two compressors. This one, real 5.5 Honda, not a clone, twin cylinder air compressor, Sanborn, good one. Both tanks have rusted through and are beyond repair, and I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna weld on a pressure vessel. Red tank, just bought, formerly an electric air compressor, was mounted up top there. Good tank, no compressor. So my goal is to somehow use this motor and compressor with that tank. It'll give me a lot of output with the twin cylinder and the 5.5 CFM wise, and it'll give me a lot of storage capacity with the big tank. But the question is, how do I make this happen? This one's got, the wheel is part of, the axles are bolted to the tanks. So if I was to cut that, I'm going to call it a skid that the compressor and thing are mounted on. If I was to cut that off, cut the tank off of it, I would leave myself with no front wheel. If I was to mount that whole skid up on top of this, I'm afraid she'd be real tippy. Or would it be? Or could I maybe even make some little outriggers on the feet that it has to make it less tippy? But I still want it to be portable somehow. Other options would be take this as is, run an air hose to this tank, quick disconnect on it or otherwise, and run it that way. It's possible. Just trying to think of options here. Yeah, if I start with this platform, I'm not going to weld anything to the tank, any braces or anything. You know, I could maybe make it go across the front, sideways, or across the back. But if I went across the back, I'd probably want to tip over on the wheels. And if I started with that base, I could put the tank like up in the handlebar area, but then I'm lifting the weight of the tank to make it mobile. Is that good? I don't know. Let me do some thinking and I'll bring you back. And by the way, years ago I did work on this machine. That motor should be good and that compressor head is good. What I see now from leaving it outside is I have a lot of rust, and that tube is probably smoked. So for me to use this tube again would be a really bad idea, and that goes down into the regulator, which goes down in the tank. And also this thing is the idle control, so when you get up to air pressure it will slam the throttle down to idle. And I don't know if you can see all this, get some of the spider webs out of there. So this part has to remain, but this hose could be eliminated if I redid this. Lots of thinking, lots of decisions when you're first starting a project. Okay, I'm just trying to assess this tank. I kind of like the idea of using the main tank. It has bigger wheels, it has two of them. They look sturdy enough. It is centered, those wheels are, you know, 7/8 of the way to the back of the tank. So it wants to go forward right now. It is very stable in that position. It is actually, you know, heavier on the front legs because they're extending past than it is on the ones underneath it. So maybe if I use this plate, I have something to weld to then. Use that plate, take the skid off of this, I'm calling that thing the skid, everything but the tank, and somehow adapt that onto the top. But then how wide can I fit through a standard door frame? All things to think about here, you know, because it'll be going through sideways. You wouldn't have it front and back on the compressor. You'd have it this way. Not, does that make sense? If I'm facing the front, you would not have it facing from front to back. You would have it going sideways, and wherever the balance point would be, I could move it left, right, and get it balanced that way. I think that's the way this is going to end up. Let me see what kind of measurement I come up with here. I was to go all the way to the side Yeah, we're only 30. If I took that skid off that belt guard, it's less than that, but the engine goes past, so we're only 30, so it would fit sideways through a 36 door. I think that's the route I'm going to go, because from all the way there to here is only 29 or 30. So I'm gonna start by cutting that skid off the tanks. I'll open the tanks so any sparks ain't gonna create any pressure. They won't anyway because it got holes in it, but just for YouTube purposes, I'll open up those dummy plugs down there. And yeah, I think I'll start by cutting those welds along the base and the other side and see what all I have to take apart to start getting at this thing. Alright, start on what's your bottom of your screen. Let's get some of these plugs out. These can be reused for other purposes. Oh, those babies are in there. Yeah, forget that one. I rounded that corner clean off it. Unbelievable tight. Let's see if I'll have any better luck with this one. Yep. Guess I had better be in the shut position. Made in Italy, really? This part. Made in Italy. I just want something wide open so if I create sparks and heat that the tank doesn't pressurize at all. I know it can't, but somebody will say I wasn't being safe. Okay. It's got a safety blow off on it. I'll have to check this one and check the one in the tank, see what the tank's rated for right now, and if not, I'll put this one on or get a new one. Get these caps off and see what kind of hardware it holds this thing on. Two and three. And what's in there? Probably a hex bolt. Yeah. Couple on the other side too. Any more? Nope. Well, I got the power tool in my hand. Nut on the other side. Of course there is. I don't mind tipping it over. Not planning on running it right now, so oil in the compressor head will not bother me. Come on. There it goes. Nice. Saved the hardware. Come on. Come on. Oh yeah. And it hits. Have to get that off after I cut that off. Or I could take the nipple out of there, but yeah, whatever. Okay. Okay, I got that off. This one, it's a slight tapered fit. Take the bolt out, give it a few whacks, off she comes. Now I can get my tool at the right angle again to cut that weld. And I think I got the shot of how rusty this was in the earlier part of the video, but I just went to grab it to pull the machine over, move it, and I snapped it clean off, thus proving that that was about as brittle as can be. Looks like rubber coated steel braided hose. Alright, same thing on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4 welds to cut. And before I get too ambitious, I'm just going to take this airline off here. This part is going to want to go down through when I pull this off. And I don't want to snap that plastic hose because it's probably the perfect diameter and size and everything I need to put it back. So we don't want to mess that up. And it also has a cable inside it. Okay. So I will take it off at this point, which I believe will get me where I want to be. I figured that was just an airline that had the action part on the other end. I guess I really didn't look it over. Yeah, it's all contained within this. Okay, put this back. That part's not supposed to come off. Good. Oh wow, that thing was loose in there real bad too, huh? Probably would have had all kinds of air leaks. We've gone with it. Got that loose with the wrench. Take this off. We're not going to need this. It's useless. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take this off because it's got some sharp ends hanging out. And I already got the adjustable wrench in my hand. Get rid of that. While I'm at it, I'm going to take this air assembly off. It'll fit through better. And then once I get into the mood of throwing that tank out, recycling it, it'll be ready to, and I won't forget this part is something I need to keep to control the throttle on the gas engine. Good. Alright, now I'm going to cut 2, 3, 4 welds. Alright, I got this side loose. I had to go with the Sawzall, lay it down in there and cut those, but the other side's not giving up so easy. Okay, I think we got something going here. Oh yeah. Some of these I could only get on the top, so I had to take the Sawzall and cut the bottoms out of them, but we got it. Kind of interesting how they make this. Okay, so that's the air going out. This crosses over the air in between them and acts as a, support. And then this is the air going in. And this only comes from one side of the tank because they're all connected, of course. Minimal materials needed. Pretty smart. Now, to do this project, there's no necessary reason to pull all this stuff, but if you were going to use it for something else later, which is why I'm pulling it. I'm also going to pull the air drains because I put those on thinking this tank was good, and they have almost no use on them. Well, now they're all rusty after several years of sitting outside, I guess, and in the dirt, but I'm going to save them nevertheless because they're good. Usually these bottoms get knocked off. They flex too much and they get knocked off and they won't turn anymore. And I'm going to take the wheel because it is a good flat free wheel. It doesn't have any air, so that's kind of desirable. Not really expecting much of a fight out of these. They're brass and I put them in with Teflon tape, so no reason they shouldn't come out. But they have been left outdoors for, well, I don't know how long. You always say a year, but was it 2 years? Whatever. Not really designed for outdoor use. Especially sitting in the dirt. Yeah, if I remember right, that was like $8, something like that, times 2. And the wheel's held on by nothing more than a piece of metal that was pounded around a shaft. We'll just open those wings up a little bit. We got ourselves a nice wheel for something else. This will get recycled. Okay, I've got you back on here in the tank platform we're going to use. I'm just going to start by just taking this whole air assembly off. I may end up reusing parts of it, I don't know. It doesn't need this switch. We could use the gauge and the regulator again, but I'm missing the knob for the regulator, which kind of is kind of rotten, but it's a square. So I think I should be able to find one. Possibly I can even look it up through the Craftsman website and still find it. Or through this regulator website and see if they got anything, if it comes up under that part number. Don't know. But I'm just going to take it off for now, just to get this thing stripped down. And I'm going to take this off here. Just, you know, I could leave that piece on. We're probably going to need it for summer, you know, to attach to the new one, but it's just aluminum, and if I'm going to be welding or cutting or anything up here, we don't want any kind of thing like that happening. Just gets in the way while you're fabbing stuff. Now, can I turn this whole thing? No, I can't. So I'm going to take the handle off so I can turn that thing all the way around and get it out. Alright, got you in the shot there. Kind of fun to work on USA made stuff. Just way easier to guess what socket size it is, that's all. Good. I'll end up putting that right back on because I want to reuse that handle. So I'll keep that so it becomes part of the design. This is coming off the pipe easy, so I'll let it just go around with the wire. I'll just leave that pipe right in the tank. I'm not even going to disturb that. Nice. I'm going to put that handle back on just so we don't bolt or weld anything that's going to be in the way. Nice. Back to stock. I gotta tell you, now that I look at that on the ground without the tanks, absolutely the right decision to put it on top of here, because I've actually seen some. They're bolt down ones made for stationary use in a garage, but I've seen some that are with the compressor on the top. So I'm not so concerned. Now it looks much more portable and manageable. So you just want to get an idea what that would look like. Here's kind of what I'm thinking. I want that up there, like that. And the first issue I see is I'm covering over my air lines which come up out of the tank, not in the center of that hole in that skid. And the reason I like the skid, is it's got already the exact perfect size for that belt that fits it, and it's got the the name tag with the model number and everything. So if you ever needed a rebuild kit or anything, also it's got the adjustable motor mounts, so you can move your motor to tension the belt. It's got the belt guard mount, everything's there, so I really want to use that as is. Okay, so the first obstacle I can see, this is way cocked to the side in order to get access to this, the only air fitting it has besides this one. And this one is designed for it's like a check valve. It needs to stop the airflow in order for the compressor to be able to restart, because it was electric, but the gas ones don't require that. So some more thinking. Other things I'm considering is, do I want the starter facing that way or this way? I think I want it facing that way because most of the service stuff is on that side, and the belt, which you rarely have to change, is be on this side with the belt guard. So I'm just doing a mock-up. I got that at an angle right now, but if I made the plate wider on the plate that's existing, this clears now. This clears. My belt guard should almost clear. I think the belt guard comes down to the base of this. Yep. So that could almost work. Whoa. Don't drop. Almost got away from me there. I had it on the edge of... And then left to right, I've lifted this, and it's about the same heaviness, same weight, same tipping point. I got it just a little favoring the engine side as far as left and right. Balance wise, it's balanced about right there. It doesn't want to tip this way, it doesn't want to tip that way, so that's pretty reasonable. So just to get you an overall view of the balance, that's going to have to, the whole top of that thing is going to have to move out about another 2 inches to accommodate that belt guard. I need that pipe to come up past the belt guard there, that silver thing. So balance wise, we are going to be a little forward heavy, but I can rebuild those feet from where they are out further if I really think it's going to, if it will only know once we get it level and bolted. If it's going to be tippy this way, I'll just take these feet, extend them over, and I think that's going to be how this one's going to end up. A lot of fabbing in between now and the end game. We'll see what happens. Here's what I'm going to use to help me mock it up. I've got some sheet steel inside these boxes. I've got this pliers to help it from tipping over. And I'm just going to try setting that thing on there and just see what we get. Okay, so I got the pliers holding the metal, holding the thing from tipping off of there, but it's actually holding. It doesn't seem like the whole mechanism really wants to tip. That part wants to fall off because it's bending the metal there. That's thin sheet steel in there. But if I get some good quality metal, I can rest that part right on the base that's there, extend the base out, level, get that other side supported, and it will not tip over. It's sitting by itself right now, and it doesn't seem tippy. If it does seem tippy, like I say, I can take those and move them out a little bit, get our center of gravity right. But I think I'm right with the way the air line comes out. I think I'm okay, almost right there, maybe a little farther out. But if I go any farther right now during the mock-up, it'll just tip over. But I'm just going to have to extend that plate out. I think that could work and not be tippy. And then I'll still be able to get at my gas cap, my oil changes, air filter still on the front, you know, where you can easily access it. And the belt will be accessible. I'll be able to pull that cage, the safety cage, up and off. Have room for that by the side of the airlines if I run, depending on how they run them. So I think this could work. So if you've never fabricated something yourself, you just look for pieces that you think will fit and try to make it happen. This piece I happen to have could be perfect. I'm going to try it in a minute here, but I've got it just locked on with some vice grips to that plate. But that might get me out far enough, and what I really like about it is it has this little built-in kick already there. That really strengthens it up and gives me something to weld to on the other side. So let's try this and see if this could work. Oh my gosh, that could barely be more perfect. Fully recycled and the right size. I got my balance point just about right. I'll just double check that. But I think we got some good things going here. I'm just going to put the cover on to see if we got enough clearance with that fitting there. Now that things are a little more stable. Nope. That would have to go out farther. Nope, no good. Unless I quick 90 that. Unless I put a 90 as soon as that comes out of the tank and come over, that won't work. But a 90 is possible, so it might work. And that would give me my balance. I could even move that over further for even better balance. That might be the way that we go. Yeah, if I take that fitting right there, 90 straight over, because I don't need that check valve thing for this kind of compressor. I could 90 up and out the back, or up out the forward, up out the side, and I'm coming out underneath that thing then. Yeah. Then to back you off and look at the balance, then I'm kind of dead over the tank with all the weight straight down, equaling the wheels, equaling the pressure between the wheels and the landing gear, or whatever you want to call it over there. I think this is going to be the way it'll end up. If I don't need that check valve there, if I can do a 90 there, that might be how this one ends up. Got you on the top of the tank there. Let's see if this old electric compressor check valve will come out easy. Not easy, but I think it'll come out. Let me get a bigger wrench. Wow, she's on there, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever bought one of these giant 24-inch wrenches kind of as a joke, and then you realize there's legitimate uses for it? I have. Like this. And I didn't even smack myself in the face with the breaker bar or a pipe or anything like that. Very nice. Now we can go with the normal size wrench. Nice. There we go. So some of you that don't keep stuff thought probably I'd never use this thing in a million years, be sitting in my toolbox or some cabinet, but oh no, not 10 years later did I have a use for it, but 10 minutes later. Let's see if it can fit here. Oh, it can and does. I'm going to just stop with it facing out. I don't know if that's how I'll finally use it or if it'll go to the back. But either way, it's plenty tight. Won't leak. Now before I go further, the compressor that was there has this pop-up valve on it. This is a safety pop-up. You have to have it. If the air gets up too high, it'll pop open and let all the air out that the compressor makes. That should be sized to the compressor. But also, I want to check the one that it came with on the electric tank here to make sure we're not going to overpressure the original tank. What was the original tank rated for? We can't go over that. So I looked at the one that came with the original one. It's 150 psi and it is, what was it, 49 SCFM. Let me pull this up. I'm not even going to try to show it on that. Yeah, 49 SCFM, so square cubic feet metered. So we will look up this one next and see which is different, if any. Okay, really good news. The one that came with the tank is rated at 175 psi, so it'll take all that compressor can give and more. And I think it was 57 CFM at that rating. Let me look that back up. And when I say looking up, I'm using my phone to be a magnifying glass, because these things are kind of hard to read after a while. 175 PSI, 57. So the other one was, the original gas compressor was only needed to be 150. This tank can take up to 175. This was designed to blow off at 175, so that's good news. So what I'm going to do, because I want the rating for the lower PSI and to blow off to protect the compressor head or whatever might blow on that, I don't know. But I'm going to take this pipe out, I'm going to reuse the T, I'm going to reuse the original safety shutoff, and we'll take one of these out of maybe the regulator assembly because we can't really read it. And it's just indication of tank pressure. Nice. Get some Teflon tape on that, and then I could put the T on there. You want that right at the tank because you don't want any shutoffs or any restrictions that could ever happen to make that safety not blow off. And yeah, it's got some permanent sealant on it, but I don't like air tanks that hiss and waste air. So just in case. A little schmutz in there. That's not good at all. And I'm going to put that facing down. I don't know if the moisture really sits in it or not, but it would blow out if you were testing. If there was any water in there, it'd probably just go right down the tube. I'm going to change this gauge, as I said, because it's kind of hard to read. It's really just a plastic piece. You might be able to clean it off, but let's just change it out. Not quite. That one's going in the junk bin. You just, you can't read it clearly, so junk it. And so on this regulator assembly, this part was for the old switch to turn it on and off. I'm going to take this one because this one I might keep with this regulator. I could use this regulator over. Little old crusty thread sealant. Thread sealant never hardens, some say. Yeah, it does. Give this a wrap or two. Or three. I don't sweat the details. And that's the wrong size. Ah, it's got an adapter. Maybe that's the right size. Thought those things were semi-universal. Maybe. No, dice. Yeah, it's the one. How many different sizes could there be? Yeah, it's got to be the one. Whoops, she's kind of unraveling. That's alright. As long as we got it run the right way, it should go down in where it needs to go. No sense going crazy on these. Just brass. Well, it fit in there 5 minutes ago. There it goes. A real pipe fitter would probably lose his cool if he saw me using this stuff. That's gas line tape. That's not regular Teflon. That's what I had available within reach. Center that up nice. Now I got a good indication. This is facing down where I can reach it. We're in good shape. Alright, next thing I have to do, this could be in and out at the same time really. This does bolt right to this thread up, I guess you call it. But I don't know if you really want, there's always condensation in air. Do you really want it sitting? Maybe that valve was upright for a reason. But this is just a blow off. This is air going in, so right now I don't have air in and out at the same time. You want to be able to get to this. That sends air to tank or air to exhaust. And maybe I want that facing down even, so it's not going to blow in somebody's rust in somebody's face like mine. This one has to be connected to the throttle. Almost got you out of frame there. This one has to be connected to the throttle cable that kicks it down whenever it gets enough air. It puts it to vent instead of to tank. So I think this has to be a T. Air out, air in from compressor. But I can turn it upside down. But I need this to be able to make it to the throttle, and I think it has to go that way to go up to the throttle where it needs to go to make it without modifying anything. Okay, I just want to double check something. This plate now. Oh, good, it clears. Look at that. Ooh, cool. That is the tightest 90 ever. So I can put this plate anywhere I want now. Because that's over there. And this is way back here. So I can move that plate however I need to, minus the guard that goes on it, and I can move it in and out as necessary. That's good that it clears that. That just makes it nice. Okay, next I'm going to put the compressor up there. I want to see if where it is now, where that engine needs to sit, if that cable can make it into this port that it needs to be in. If that's like that, or if I have to 90 that upwards, or how we're going to do this. Won't make it like that. Yeah, that'd have to be way over there, and it can't because at a certain point that thing's going to hit the guard will hit the safety guard that I have to put on. So yeah, I'm still several inches away, and there's no smarter way of running it. Will not work as is. Okay, plan B, C, D, what are we on? But I just tried plan B. I can move this back and forth. It will just make that if I was to put it like that. Interesting. That could work. That just makes it. I'm not really crimping it. I'm not really pulling it. It's got a nice even bend. Nice. Could work. Maybe. Also, you know, depending on where I tighten this, I can make that go flat, up, any direction, and that's why that makes that now than it didn't before. And I moved this over a little bit. Yeah, so I got the guard on there right now. I'm holding it in about the right position. It could make it, if that's how I want to do it. Now, as is typical with any engineering project, work in progress, etc., I don't want to have my air going out and my air coming into the tank in the same place, because when this blows off, I assume the air from here couldn't get out back to my airline. So I do need to make this both the blow-off area and the regulator area. Glad I figured that out now, but need some piping that I don't have in my hands. I took the gauge off. I'm taking that small adapter because I wouldn't want to go down to this size for air delivery, because that wouldn't deliver much air at all. That would be the next size down. Gotcha, back here at the back of the tank. I'm calling it the back. I don't know if it's the front or what, but I need a 90. No, I'll put a T right there. No, I'll put a 90 right there. I'll go over, then I'll put a T. I'll tee off one going into my gauge, one going into my regulator slash, which I haven't screwed together yet, obviously, slash output. So 90, little piece of pipe, T. We got what we need. Once we have those pieces, that is. Back out here with the air compressor and tank project, gas powered Honda. Got some plumbing parts, some parts to connect our pressure gauge and also our air spigot fitting output, whatever you want to call it. So if you're like me when you're doing plumbing, you just bring every size and fitting known to mankind, even if you only know you need a couple pieces. So I've got some brand new pieces, some used takeoff fittings from other things, some valves, things like that, and we're going to make this work. In case anybody at home is wondering, I've now identified it as 1/4 inch. It is not 3/8, so I do have a good used fitting here. So we'll start by teeing that in there, or did I want to tee it that way? Let me think about this, bring you back. Okay, got you on the top of the tank here. So this is 3/8 inch. So I'm going to start by building it from here out. Okay, as I was just starting to mock this up, by the time I get this all the way, it's going to hit this hand grab rail. And if I go over, the other gauge is going to be just as high. The regulated gauge, I'm going to have tank pressure, and the regulated gauge, it's going to be right where your hand's going to go, so that's not going to work. Got to get that shorter. I'm going to go from this nipple, which I didn't want to disturb, that's in the tank, to a close nipple or a short nipple. That'll get me much lower, and in theory make it a little more sturdy. On the outlet fitting bung on the tank, I'm going to go with the shortest. This is called a close nipple. It's basically the shortest one you can possibly get. If you got any shorter, you wouldn't be able to grip it with the pliers to tighten it, or pipe wrench. Alright, let's see if we can get it to start. There it goes. Then I'm going to put the one that goes to the blow-off safety valve, safety blow-off valve, however you say it. You don't want any restriction between that and the tank. You want that tank to be able to vent if it needs to. If she's over pressure, that needs to pop out. I'm going to go around one more time. Alright. Again, I don't want it to get too high. I want to be able to wrap my hands around this without getting into the gauges. So I'm going to go with a shorter piece here too. I flipped that over from where it was before, upside down. This was the bottom piece. So I've got short, and I'm going to go as short as possible. I have one that's, you know, another inch shorter than that. Probably even more when I turned it in. So let's go with that. Got that all wrapped up with Teflon. This will give me a shorter run up to the T. I think I'll be able to still put my gauge here. Yeah, and leave room for my hand. That's what I'm going for. And then this is going to go over to the regulator. So let's do that. This adapter is needed for my gauge because it's smaller than what was smaller than the size of the pipe. I want to keep that pipe at least 1/4 inch, because if not, you're not going to get any kind of flow out of it at all. Just move that whole thing. Yes, I did. And then this one's going to be for just full tank pressure, whatever the tank's at. And then we're going to put a regulator on it, and that's going to tell us what pressure we're regulated to. I mean, most things you can just run it full bore, but there are certain things, spray guns, etc., that you would want to turn it down, so you need to know where it's at. Guess I don't need that anymore. Let's get this close nipple out of here. And these I'm pre-wrapping off camera, so you don't have to be bored with the details. I'm going to have to turn this to work on it, and then turn it back. Don't worry, it'll still seal. Shouldn't do that, but yeah. Ow! Don't get your thumb in there. It's less enjoyable working on it if you do. I'm going to go try that angle, see if that works. I like that. That lets me get my hand around the grip. and not in the way, and I can see this gauge facing me, which is nice. I'll just have to get a handle or a knob or something to turn this with, because right now it's got a square thing, so I should be able to find some kind of knob that'll fit it. Alright, so from an operator's view, you got your thing, you can pull that easily, nothing's in the way of it. You'll be able to crank this, you'll be able to see your outgoing pressure. You got your quick disconnect there, all brass disconnect. And as I go, I find out things. So I wouldn't mind having this longer pipe and the quick connect out there, and then I could like strap it to this metal handle to hold it nice and firm so it doesn't move at all like it is now. I mean, I could also tighten that crazy tight, but I think I might want that quick disconnect past this handle. Yeah, then I could keep that thing right at a 90. Yeah, I'm gonna put this longer piece in between the regulator and the quick disconnect. Well folks, sometimes the big improvements turn out to be a fail. I have just busted this thing in half and snapped it off inside of the quick disconnect, so that's junk now. Recycle! Gotta get another one of those now. Looks like for today all I'll be able to do is get as far as putting in this pipe. Got it all set up with Teflon for when I get that fitting, and I'll be able to just thread it on. And this is just aluminum, so that's why I'm going kind of light on these. I don't want to really tighten this too far. There, now I can maybe strap that with something, and that'll give me a nice firm fitting when I put the fitting on there, a nice firm feel. Okay, as far as this unloader assembly, or whatever you want to call this, looks like this can go on. This piece here may have to be changed at a later date. They've gone and brazed a flare fitting thing on there. Unless I get the exact same size flare fitting, I'll use something else, but I might. So I will just put this on for now, get some tape, and thread that on. Nice. A little bigger. I'm going to face this up because you have to get at that. I actually have to give that a little lubricating oil because it's not really snapping closed like it should. It's not really turning like it should either. So, no, second thought, that had to face that way because of the compressor cable is only so long. That'll still work. Okay. See if I can get that thing to loosen up a little. I don't know if it's the inside parts that are sticking or just a lever part out on the outside here, but should go very freely. I think it's both. There, she's loosening up now. You should be able to just snap that and it'll go back in. Yeah, it's loosening up as we go. Good. I even put some down the holes. A little oil just to help lubricate those O-rings. Now that's how you want it. You want it nice and easy. You start it with no air restriction, and then you snap it closed to get it to go into the tank. Okay, I got the thing all tightened up. It's turned about the direction that I need to make that happen. That can reach now, so we're in good shape. This goes freely. We're going there. We're getting there. This plate is the one I put on top of the plate that the compressor came with. It looks like if I put that all the way to there, this thing is a little bit past halfway, a little bit past center line. So instead of cutting this thick metal, I'm just going to probably leave it like that. It doesn't really have to be all the way back, and it just leaves me more room for the guard, which goes on, and I'll put that on now. So I'm just finishing the mock-up here of that plate where it relates front to back, side to side, and how this fits on there. So if this is here, that makes it there, just perfect. And then, better yet, the edge of this metal where it's bent up, I can weld that onto the base of that skid. So that gives me a great place to get a good solid weld there, and then I'll weld it on the back wherever it lies. Just weld here, here, just like they did. So I'm going to start with just literally bolting this to the metal plate there. That way, if I ever have to do any replumbing here or redo anything, I can unbolt that plate from the compressor, from the air tank, do any work necessary with just bolts. I do not want to weld it. It makes it too permanent. Alright, I got you on the plate there. There's one hole already drilled in the black metal here, and one hole there that goes and hits something. So I'm going to first do those to get this aligned so nothing moves around as I'm drilling, and then I'll do 2 holes wherever they hit the plate on the backside. So I'm going to start by just, because I got the plate where I want it, I think. Yeah, it's pretty straight, I guess. Start by just drilling the bottom piece only, so I don't move it off of where I want it. Now I can see where I'm at. Yeah, I'm a little close to that edge. I'm afraid the nut might not quite fit under there. I can get in through the side, but I'm right at the edge. Nope, that's not gonna, the original holes are not gonna work, but I can use those as alignment holes. Okay, I'll just make some holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, by using those as a guide. So is that good front to back? That's about equal. Now I'm into the bottom piece. Good. That's a good location. That'll give me a good starting point for indexing it. I hate this chuck. I don't care how hard you tighten it, the chuck is stripped out. Still does the job. I'm going to put the first bolt in just so we don't get off kilter. Got the first hole going there. See if I can sneak in the side, or how am I going to get in there? I may have to take this off, but if I do, can I get it back in there? Yes, I can. Okay, I'm going to take that off, then I can fit my fingers in there. This one's a little more covered over on the edge, but this side's wide open. On this side it's very open. I could get like one finger in there to hold something if I need to, but the side is really desirable. So just excavate till we get in there. I'm going to start the bolt on that because I can right now easily. Set it down. I'm just using nylock. I don't know if the Whizlock ones, the ones with the little serrations, would have been better. I'm going with what I know. And I'm putting the nut on the top. Probably doesn't matter that much. Realigning my 2 holes. Now I'll drill my next one. Nice. Can I reach all the way underneath there? I got long fingers, but not that long. Okay, I'll figure out how I'm going to do that and bring it back. So that was just a matter of getting under there and trying to fish around and find it. I'm just going to try to make a square pattern here. This one will be easy to reach. Already dropped that bolt out. Let's not drop the other one out. This one's trying to rattle loose on me because I didn't tighten them. Nice. While I got those lined up, I'm just going to go for it. And there's many ways I could have done this. I could have welded it, I could have bolted it, I could have used tap and die, tapped into the bottom part, but I don't trust the vibration that the thing's going to be under, that a tapped bolt would really hold forever. I really want the clamping force of a nut on the other side. Wow. Ooh, that one's kind of stuck. Give me that back. Why did that loosen up? Kind of odd. Good. That one slipped off. Beautiful. Okay, I just put the handle back on, so I'm sure when I put the guard, we're going to have plenty of clearance there, because they're all bolted down. So the next thing I'm going to do will be off camera for noise and sparks reasons, but I'm going to prep the area on the frame, the little mounting bracket, and the skid, and maybe two more here for welds. And then, same thing on this side underneath this belt cover, that's why I haven't put it on yet. I haven't put my pulley on there yet. I'm going to prep an area down here, there, maybe one in the middle. I'll have to see how many I can fit. Just want to grind back the paint a little bit to get a better weld so I'm not burning through the paint. So what I've done is just shined up a couple areas there where I can get both of the pieces melted together. Same thing here. A little there, a little there, a little there. I still got to do the back plate a little bit. I got the front real good. So because I was still able to take this off, I was able to grind the skid behind there, so if I start melting through, I'll have nice clean metal all the way around. So I'm done for today and my time. Your video will continue. Back out here today, another day for me, same day for you, and I'm going to do some welding with my little weenie welder. Wire feed, don't expect anything spectacular, but let's stick this thing together. Well, as you can see, if you have a weenie welder, you're not going to get the perfect AWS quality welds you might desire, but it does the job. A grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. That'll dry just about instantly. Nice! Look at that. Another piece of the puzzle. Nice! Let's see if I can just roll this on. Pretty sure I should be able to. Yeah. Perfect. Get these started. Those holes are actually slotted on the bottom, so I can get these started now. Don't have to fight it. Where's that one at? To the side, not to the bottom. Line up. There we go. Let's see where this one's going to line up. Right there. Nice. This is the throttle kickdown assembly. I just took this off last time and that allowed it to spin. Within itself it spins here. I think that's okay to do for it. Not going to break it, I hope. See if we can get that to thread in. I put Teflon on that. Don't know if it's required, but mine's getting it. I'm holding the cable and spinning the thing. far does it go? There we go. She's tightening. Oh yeah. All right. Throttle cable put on. Nice. I really like the idea of this not shaking or being able to be yanked sideways if you yank your hose from an angle. So I'm going to put a clamp from around the air pipe and the handle, try to tie them together. I'm going to try it like that, just kind of do it on an angle. I don't like that tab sticking out. Oops, kicked ya. You okay? What else can I do? Maybe can we go this way? Then the tab will be sticking down. That'd probably be better than where your hand is going to be when you're maybe grabbing that. Whoops, still in reverse. No, don't come unthreaded. That's much safer than having it right by your fingers. Alright, cool. That just solids it up, and if you were to pull the hose remotely, you won't tip the thing, you won't pull this thing. Okay, so now what I got to do is figure out what size flare that is. I'm not up on my flare sizes, worth a dang. What size flare that is right now, or what size fitting it goes into coming out the compressor. It's kind of surprising that the compressor comes out big and then they necked it right down, thereby restricting your flow, but whatever. It has to go from here down to here to give the tank the air. So I could turn that one that way, of course, but I have to figure out what size flare that is. A little bit of identifying marks here. 3/8 something GHA FG, I don't know, but it's interesting. It says here 6 JIC, which JIC is like hydraulic fittings. Is that also flare, or is this not flare? Is that a hydraulic fitting? Not familiar on these kind. I'll have to look it up, get something to match, or I'll just start new from here and not reuse theirs, but it's already there, so why not reuse what they got? In a rough estimation way, I'm going to see if I came out this way, I looped it around, it's going to have to be a 3-footer. Or I could take some pipe and extend some of it, but you want that vibration resistance, I think, for the compressor head. You want something flexible, and that's what they had on it before, was something flexible. Of course, it turned into a piece of iron, but it's petrified, but I'm sure it was much more flexible. I think that's necessary to prevent you know, the vibration, the harmonics get going on the thing shaking, and probably you'll break off the pipe down there, or break off the fitting here, or something in the middle. And plus, isn't it wonderful to use flex hose, because we don't need 90s and we just run it point to point, so no leaks. Alright, still no air line. Ordered that today, but let's see if everything else is in order. Back out again with the compressor project, and I have a hose that I think is going to fit right onto those. It's literally just hydraulic hose, 3/8 Hydra S100 R2AT 3/8 inch, maximum working pressure 4,785 psi. I think that'll be more than enough for the 135 this will be going on. Nice and flexible, nice new stuff. Looks like they've done a nice job on it. It's just a universal piece I bought. I didn't have it custom made, but awesome. Rust resistant fittings. Looks like that might be even stainless, and nice rubbery hose there. Pretty good stuff. Does it fit? I don't know. I believe it does. Yes, it does. Nice. Let's see. Yeah, I want to turn that fitting toward me so we don't have to go up and over. Oh dear, that's the one that was really loose. We'll go under this thing because you need to keep flicking this when you want to start the compressor. So I want to go under. If I go down a little too much, is that going to be beneficial? Yes. Nice. One shot. That, folks, makes it easy. One shot, end to end. And just like everything you do when you're inventing something, I'm going to actually put that one down farther, make a loop, and have that one come up. Yep. Keeps it tucked in a little more because that thing gets hot when when that air comes out of there. And that's a nice even bend for the hose, so it should never have any kind of stress on it. Keeps that thing out of the way of my finger. When you start it, you open that, and then when you want the air to go to the tank, you pop it closed. Give it some fuel. Give that a minute to fill the bowl, because I always run it out. Choke on. And air supply not to tank. See what this thing can do. And switch on. Alright, I think it's complete, as long as everything works. One other thing, I'll zoom in a little bit there. If you look I'm going to tip the tank up. If you look at the air spigot down there, I put a regular ball valve and I extended it out a little so you don't have to reach underneath the tank so much to get that drain. Maybe you can see the plumbing I did there. If it's hard to get at, you'll never do it, so I did that. Just extend it out to make it easy to use. Let's see what this thing's got. See if we can make some air. I think that's how I want it, something like that. That's about right. Put that back up there. Put this through. Where did my clamp go? There it is. Put this through into the regulator. And again, that housing's only aluminum, so let's not go ape crazy. I like it. There is an arrow which says the direction, so that is the back. Alright, start by taking our little strengthener off here. Taking it loose a little bit anyway. It'll just take a minute and I'll feel better about it, that it'll work perfectly, and then it has the perfect locking mechanism on it and guaranteed to work, or at least guaranteed to be a new one. Oh, and of course, won't come out. turn this out of the way. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that again, but I did it again. That plug needs to go in the back. On the regulator, I'm missing this little piece. I bought the OEM piece. Turns out this thing is supposed to be a locking collar on there, and then it's got all the internals on it and stuff. So they didn't have just the knob. So being that I got all the new internals and everything in there, and it's going to work so smooth, and then it's able to lock the way it should, I'm going to replace it. Be just a few minutes of pipe work, and then everything will be new in this one, and it'll work smooth. Back out again with the compressor project, and I have a hose that I think is going to fit right onto those. It's literally just hydraulic hose, 3/8 Hydra S100 R2AT 3/8 inch, maximum working pressure 4,785 psi. I think that'll be more than enough for the 135 this will be going on. Nice and flexible, nice new stuff. Looks like they've done a nice job on it. It's just a universal piece I bought. I didn't have it custom made, but awesome. Rust resistant fittings. Looks like that might be even stainless, and nice rubbery hose there. Pretty good stuff. Does it fit? I don't know. I believe it does. Yes, it does. Nice. Let's see. Yeah, I want to turn that fitting toward me so we don't have to go up and over. Oh dear. That's the one that was really loose. We'll go under this thing because you need to keep flicking this when you want to start the compressor. So I want to go under. I'll go down a little too much. Is that going to be beneficial? Yes. Nice. One shot. That, folks, makes it easy. One shot, end to end. And just like everything you do when you're inventing something, I'm going to actually put that one down farther, make a loop, and have that one come up. keeps it tucked in a little more, because that thing gets hot when when that air comes out of there. And that's a nice even bend for the hose, so it should never have any kind of stress on it. Keeps that thing out of the way of my finger. When you start it, you open that, and then when you want the air to go to the tank, you pop it closed. On the regulator, I'm missing this little piece. I bought the OEM piece. Turns out this thing is supposed to be a locking collar on there, and then it's got all the internals on it and stuff. So they didn't have just the knob. So being that I got all the new internals and everything in there, and it's going to work so smooth, and then it's able to lock the way it should, I'm going to replace it. Be just a few minutes of pipe work, and then everything will be new in this one, and it'll work smooth. Alright, start by taking our little strengthener off here. Taking it loose a little bit anyway. It'll just take a minute, and I'll feel better about it. That it'll work perfectly, and then it has the perfect locking mechanism on it, and guaranteed to work, or at least guaranteed to be a new one. And of course, won't come out. Turn this out of the way. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that again, but I did it again. That plug needs to go in the back. There is an arrow which says the direction, so that is the back. I think that's how I want it, something like that. That's about right. back up there. Put this through. Where did my clamp go? There it is. Put this through into the regulator. And again, that housing's only aluminum, so let's not go ape crazy. I like it. Alright. I think it's complete, as long as everything works. One other thing, I'll zoom in a little bit there. If you look, I'm going to tip the tank up. If you look at the air spigot down there, I put a regular ball valve and I extended it out a little so you don't have to reach underneath the tank so much to get that drain. Maybe you can see the plumbing I did there. If it's hard to get at, you'll never do it, so I did that. Just extend it out to make it easy to use. Let's see what this thing's got. See if we can make some air. Alright, it's cutting out a little late compared to where it should be set at, but I think with a little use that should loosen up a little bit and maybe pop off a few pounds earlier. 5 pounds earlier would be good enough for me. Actually, maybe it's not so bad. When it's running, it looks like it's almost making it to 140, but now that the gauges are stationary, we can see that's not the case. Anyway, this one's pretty much done. Okay, I'm going to call this one done, even though I am going to repaint this guard black, just so it doesn't rust. And also, I think I'm going to take off the original handle assembly. There's two real nice hose hangers, and I'd have to see if I can put it maybe here. No, I probably wouldn't want it in the way of this thing. Probably this side. Maybe I'll just have that right here, and then I could have my hose hanging up and down out of the way of the wheel. Won't show that on camera, but that's what's probably going to happen. Anyway, for those of you that do stick through the projects all the way to the end, I do appreciate you. A lot of people probably just get irritated with the hemming and hawing, and I could do this and I might do that and give up, but the reward is, at the end of the day, I have a good running machine here, and I had a couple of pieces of scrap before where this stood, so I feel pretty good about that. And again, thanks for watching. For all the people that really do stick with it all the way to the end, I do appreciate it. And I hereby declare this Frankenstein air compressor Wildwood certified. Thanks for watching.